So, hi everyone. How you guys been doing? How are you doing, John Dennis?
Thank you for asking, Elif. I am not having a particularly fun day. I had to wake up somewhat earlier than I would have liked. But besides of that, it's a very nice day outside. How about you, Enes?
I think I'm doing just okay. It's a nice day. I woke up early. I did so many things, so I'm happy about it.
Just for once, I want people to, when I say how are you, respond, I am having the worst day. Why are we recording today or something on that vein? Binali.
I am. Well, I'm not doing great, but it's kind of inevitable. I am afflicted with the modern plague, COVID. This is kind of the best day of my week so far because I've been much worse in the previous days. But I'm hanging in there.
Get well soon.
Get well soon.
Indeed. You know, what else is hanging in there? It's a foreshadowing. And Elif, how about you?
What?
Well, I'm doing well. I mean, the weather is cloudy, but it's been sunnier these days. The days are getting longer. The flowers and trees are a little bit blooming, so I start to see a little bit more green outside. But today is cloudy and drizzling.
So you can tie in your Martinichka, is what I'm hearing. And finally, Izel.
By the way, did you know that Martinichka tradition is
Getting protected?
protected by UNESCO?
Okay. And Izel, how about you?
I'm fine, thank you. I've been playing the game I have played for more than 10 years nowadays. I think it's even close to 15. I've been playing this since 2008.
Whoa.
That's a long time for a game to be still going.
Yeah, I'm surprised, but I'm so glad it's still going, and I will keep playing it until it ceases to exist. And it started as a dress up game, but with time, you had your own doll, and you would have a house for it. Like, it's real nice. And in this game, you have a suite that you can fill up with your um, furniture, I guess. And it's a 2D game.
Have you said the name of the game?
It's Stardoll. I think I haven't said it.
It's a good one.
Mhm.
I remember playing it when I was
Yeah.
a kid too. I mean,
Link in the
Yeah.
description.
yeah.
They aren't paying us to say those things.
Yeah,
This is often the case.
Its technology is a bit behind these days, so it's a bit sad. But I love that game. And during holiday and seasonal days, they would send gift to you. And for the month of Ramadan, I'm gonna say Ramadan.
Yeah.
We
Yeah, definitely.
okay, right? Not with the D. Yeah. You
I
can
mean, we
cut
call
this
it
part out.
Ramazan in Turkey and we are Turkish people, so
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Um,
Also called Iftar, and I'm gonna use our words. Okay. For Ramazan, they sent us a plate of tulumba tatlısı. And I loved it so much because I love tulumba tatlısı.
Yum, yum,
I
yum.
didn't used to like it as a kid, but nowadays, like, I would be think if there was a tulumba tatlısı, I would eat it. I would say this. And after getting this little item,
It's a fried, like, it's a special dough fried in deep hot oil, and put it on, like, they also, after frying, they put lots of sugary sherbet,
syrup.
mhm.
syrup, and they
Yeah.
make it like as a sponge. It takes all the sugary syrup inside,
Yes.
and
It shouldn't. That's a defect. If
you
it does that, it's a badly made one.
No. Inside should have gotten the syrup. The inside should be spongy and wet, and the outside should be crispy and
Crunchy
thick.
and thick.
A bit thick. I don't like the thin ones.
All of those are true, but it shouldn't be like a sponge. It shouldn't be too sweet. Like it shouldn't be overwhelming with sherbet. It should be lighter.
The shape looks like churros, but doesn't really taste like churros at all. It has that star tip.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. We are also where we can link the Wikipedia page and a recipe for it in the notes, so you can look at it. And
It's a really common street food you can buy, like a street dessert. You can have in small shapes. You can have it in loop.
And maybe one of our Turkish food making people has a video about this in English, and
Yeah.
I can put that on the description. I am hoping Refika has a video, and I can. And another one-sided friend of the show, Refika Virgül, maybe has a video, and I can put it.
yeah, like after getting this dessert in my game, I was like, I think I had pide from previous pide item from previous Ramazan, so maybe I should create an iftar table because I have been away from my family the past few Ramazan seasons, so I miss having a big table with my
It's a feast.
relatives and family, and having a really big table full of food and pide and
Spread of Turkish cuisine.
yeah. So I thought we can talk about these things.
So what
maybe.
did you put on the table?
Food.
What were there?
Well, since it's a game, I didn't have much options to put on the table, but I can put a link to my table in the description too. But to sum it up quickly, I had first of all I put water glasses for everyone and a big pitcher for more water, and I had hurma also from previous seasons. I put it there, and I had pide. A few pides inside the paper wrapping. It's a real nice
Ooh.
item in the game. Yeah. And what else? I've tried to find full Turkish cuisine food in the game store, and I found a few different kebab
Yum, yum, yum.
varieties. I found köfte, and I found köpüklü ayran
Whoa.
inside the
Foamy ayran.
It's an open version, so out of the large pitcher, rather than the packed ones from the stores. So that's why when it's foams, it's so good. Out of the faucet of ayran.
Yayık ayran is the latte of Turkish, I would say.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it that, but there is this place that we sometimes go, and it does such a nice smoky ayran. Oh my god, it is like, oh baby, it both refreshes you and has this rich texture, and it takes you to a place with a barbecue smoking in the side, with the meats turning and their fat splattering all over, and you can smell it. And while all of these are happening, even though the weather is hot, you are refreshed by the iron experience you are having along with the smoke. See, Elif, that's what happens when you do the thing. That's the
So
how the term Iftar tables.
Like-
So please continue.
yeah, title.
and like ayran is just a yogurt, water and salt shaken together. But
The consistency of those three elements are the key.
yeah, like small things makes us happy.
Yeah, I mean, not like that. It's like smoking food. Smoked food makes us happy.
Smoked food
Okay.
makes me very happy.
And finally, I had
So we need an explanation
for what?
for Ramadan. Ramazan.
Yeah, but I wasn't finished with the things on my
This
table.
isn't finished. This is describing your
Please
table.
continue with the things on your table.
And
Güzel.
Enes, you need to watch your table manners.
and I had lokma for desserts on the table, and finally I had Turkish tea inside a tiny waist glass.
We have an
And
episode
that's all.
about Turkish tea inside
Yeah.
Tiny Waist Plus. You can follow it on the.
That's what I wanted to do.
We have an episode about tea culture. You can listen to it after this.
Yeah, we really suggest you. It's also a fun episode.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun recording that one too.
So Ramazan, and what is related to? Why is related to food that much? That's the thing that I was saying. Like you are being quiet is kind of not nice for me.
Binali wanna explain Ramazan to our foreign audience because you're always going around saying, I have so many foreign friends. I am like foreign relations office.
But I
Oh my
was gonna do
god!
that.
Well, I think a lot of people.
I mean, Enes, you can explain it too if you want. I'm not trying to steal your thunder, which is a type of meat.
Yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say like Ramazan is a month based on the month moon calendar, and it jumps around the
lunar
year.
calendar,
And
I think.
moon, yeah, lunar, yeah, lunar calendar.
Lunar calendar.
Lunar calendar.
Because you
Lunar
can't arrange a
calendar.
meeting.
So
Sorry, Enes, please continue.
in Islam, during Ramazan month, you are fasting basically during the day hours. Day hours. You like when sun shines, you can't eat, drink anything. You can't do forbidden acts, or like you can't even lie during fasting. Actually, lying is also forbidden.
Yeah, but like you weren't supposed to like lie and
Yeah, you shouldn't supposed to lie, but if you are fasting, you should be extra careful. That's the thing. That's the main thing, and it's kind of romanticized.
Well, it's meant as a like cleansing of the soul. That's the thing.
Also, yeah, it's cleanse for body and the mind and spirits. That's that's the thing of it.
By the way, there are similar practices in Christianity and Hebrew, in Judaism as well, fasting, but differently from those. The one in the Ramazan is not particularly voluntary. It's one of the musts of the religion.
Yes.
And two, it is from morning to night time with no water or anything in between. So it's a set time. I think the Judaic fasting is more like until you stop or a longer period of time. And I think Christianity is a thing that you can just do in as atonement to a certain act, not in a set time of year.
Yeah, I think.
Can I? In Easter, also in Orthodox Christians do practice fasting, but they do not eat certain foods rather than all foods and water. Like, I don't really know which foods are exactly forbidden, but fasting can arrange differently, can be also not allowed to eat certain things.
I mean, there are different ways to approach the concept, but in general, like Enes said, when the sun is up, you don't do forbidden actions, including but is not limited to eating, drinking, and doing mean things in general.
I think drinking water is like not drinking water is one of the more unique things, like with the Ramadan, because that's the thing that shocks people the most. Even like people from other religions.
Even the water you are not drinking.
Even the water, how do you go on? Yeah, how do you go without drinking water?
Irritably.
I think that's the one of the main differences. But yeah. Oh, another main difference is that it rotates in the year based on lunar calendar, which means that maybe you started out like fasting in summer when you're a child, and now suddenly it's on winter.
It's a 36-year cycle.
Yeah.
When I was in first or second grade, I remember the iftar time would be during our classes because my school ended at 6 and the sun set before 6.
Oh yeah, obviously the sunset hours differ too between different seasons. So it's not just
Yeah.
summer.
Countries.
And
Yeah.
cities.
Yeah.
Oh, that's then the Coca-Cola commercial that's with the iftar table starting at one part of the country and spanning to the other end.
Indeed, but like
What
in
was it
summary,
from Ağrı to Gökçeada?
well, I understand the question within the country
Yes,
or
yes,
like
yes.
so there is this very I mean it's a joke we do in Turkey all the time. Maybe other Muslim countries do the same joke as well. There's a map of Chile, the country, and because it's so narrow, it says the time for iftar for Chile, like the entire country at the same time. But yeah, that's Ramadan. So it's for like 1 month a year. People behave differently.
That's Ramadan for you.
Yeah, that's the general gist of it. Like you can do your own research, and probably when you do the research, you will encounter what we have described
Also,
with more Arabic words, because we use the Turkish versions which come from Persian. But the wider Muslim society words actually come probably from Arabic. We don't know how to pronounce most of these words. We had a small argument before the episode, and we decided to go with the Turkish words
Well,
for
about
describing
those
things.
discourse. Also, after the whole month, when the next month there is an Eid or Eid or anything, we call it Bayram,
Feast,
and it's
sugar
kind
feast.
of a feast. Sugar feast, sugar fest.
Don't call it sugar fest.
Şeker
This is all getting
bayramı.
cut. This is all getting cut.
No, it's not. I am gonna say. I mean, şeker bayramı. Şeker means sugar. Bayramı means feast. Sugar feast.
Or Ramazan Bayramı.
Yeah.
Point is, if one can easily see why food is such a closely associated concept for Ramazan, hence Izel gets tulumba tatlısı in her game for Ramazan.
We aren't here to discuss the theological aspects of it, like whether it's a.
No, we're not.
We are not gonna do that here. Instead of trying to tiptoe around the topic, we are gonna ignore it completely, and we want to talk about the cultural aspect of it, like how people, like what people associate with Ramadan, because it's, as Binali said, it moves around the year. So you can't just say, oh, in Ramadan we eat artichoke all the time, because it's usually not the season for
Yeah.
artichoke.
And
I mean, obviously with greenhouses, you can get stuff around the year right now, but most of these traditions are quite old. Involving but is not limited to Hacivat ve Karagöz. Link in the show notes. And most of these traditions, because they date way back, we weren't able to put seasonal food. Actually, that's the problem with all Islamic rituals, because they move around the year. You can't associate agricultural products with them, like you
That's
would
quite
do in
democratic.
Thanksgiving or such.
Yeah, but also, I think a lot of them has things that are already associated with them that are not cultural. Like obviously, I'm not gonna say eat. Feast of Sacrifice is associated with meat, for obvious reasons. Ramadan has a plethora of like food it is associated with. Maybe this changes over the map, but like obviously we have pide. Yes, you can make pide any time of the year, but it is made during Ramadan.
And it's a different type of pide too. Like it's a specific size, specific shape and thickness. Though it's not the
Yes.
classical pide that you get from kebab next to it. You know.
Flatbread with a flatbread that has maya in it.
Also, yumurtalı one
Yeast.
is only
Egged
in
one.
Ramazan, like with the egg,
Yes.
with the egg wash on top.
Double pide with eggs.
Yeah, you can always eat pide with all different kebabs, but the Ramazan pide is a kind of different. It is because of the yeast, I guess. Is it? Also
And
the egg.
Obviously, different kebab places have different priorities when it comes to.
Or maybe we can say, oh, after quite long fasting day after at the night, it tastes different. Maybe we can say that.
No, it is made
No,
different.
I think
yeah.
No, don't
when we
bring
air
don't
this
bring us.
episode, it will be no longer the Ramazan. So, yeah, we can say those things, and it will be fine.
And at least in Turkey, you wouldn't find it in the bakeries outside of the Ramazan season. It's not really that common.
It is similar to pumpkin spice latte, as I love saying, because you only see it for 1 month, and then it's like it doesn't happen, it doesn't exist, and it can't be done in other seasons. Like you can make pita whenever you want, but
they will
we
not
just
do
don't.
it. They will not do it.
Yes, that's crazy. That's insane. Insane
I mean,
talk.
I think. I mean, the thing is, if pide was not this closely associated with Ramazan, and if it was just made like the entire like all the bakeries in the world just make their like 10 like types of bread, and they also make pide all year round,
Mhm.
then I don't think there will be this like insane queues for pide during Ramazan, which I don't know how many of you participate in that.
You cannot book it. That's the thing. You cannot book from your local, you cannot reserve 2 pitas for dinner from your local bakeries.
No, you have to be there and you have to grab it. You have to wait in line.
You can't even grab it in the morning because it comes afternoon. So you can't go to the store in the morning and get some. You need to
I mean,
be there
first
for
of
the
all,
queue.
you would not grab pide in the morning. You have to get it while it's hot out of the oven.
Exactly. Right out of the oven when it's hot to the point that you cannot really touch it.
I
Yeah.
am not saying that's what I would do. What I'm saying is you can't even if you wanted to.
Sen soğuk pideyi savundun.
Take it out and show it.
Yeah, you want it to be hot, so during the iftar you can put butter on it and it would melt.
Yes.
Of. Also,
I
the
mean,
leftovers
yes.
pide in sahur. Of.
Oh yeah. Like also one of the other things that like in iftar, there are different type of iftar tables that you can create. And
Let me, Elif, interrupt you because I want to say one last thing about pide. And there is also this vicious cycle about pide. What happens is one day in Ramazan, you buy too much pide and some of it remains. And that the next day you eat the stale pide from yesterday while buying a fresh one. This goes on for an entire month where you always buy fresh pide but never eat it. And you always eat one day old pide.
Oh, you have the opposite. You have the opposite cycle. This is my cycle. One day you buy too much pide, so you have leftover pide. Next day you go buy the fresh pide, and when iftar comes, we fasted all day. We're not gonna eat the stale pide. We have to eat the fresh one. The stale one stays in the back, so it stays for another day. So next day you buy the fresh one again. We fasted all day. We have to eat the fresh one again.
No. You don't
So-
do
so-
that. You eat it at night while before going into fasting.
No,
It's
we're
sahur.
gonna feast all day. No.
After fighting over everything for the past 2 years in this podcast, this is what's gonna break our friendship.
no. You know what happens? That the stale pita goes to the birds, man. You put them, you mush them.
No. Stale pide goes to the birds. Thank you, Elif. You do not eat the stale pide at night because you're gonna feast. You're gonna fast all day. You can't fast with
No,
stale
you are
pide in
going
your
to make
stomach.
it like you put it in. You drip it into egg washed, whatever it is. I'm so raised and I can't understand anything at all. How are you wasting so much pide?
It's not a waste. It goes to birds.
My family enters the competition with a whole other contender. They eat bazlama for sahur. Hadi bakalım.
Oh my
Man,
god!
okay.
Everybody's minds are blown.
Bazlama might be superior than pide, but you can have it all year round. So that's why pide is more special.
Yeah,
But
Bazlama
it
is not
says,
special.
no, bazlama is special. It's local thing for Ankara especially. It's like inner Anatolian tradition mostly.
Yes,
So
but it's
Elif,
not
rather than
special to
Yeah, so the
Ramadan.
different iftar
iftar
tables.
tables
Yes.
can be a little bit different depending on the season. Like we talked, what it's on the table will change, but also what you eat changes. Meaning that because pide is such a center in Turkish iftar table, sometimes you want to highlight it in such a manner you just create a breakfast table for iftar. And that will mean there wouldn't be that much meat or soup,
Hmm.
but a
Mhm.
classic breakfast, a Turkish spread breakfast. And then you will literally have
Turkish
breakfast with tons
breakfast.
of different jams,
Of with
different
chilbur.
eggs.
Eggs, breads,
Can we talk
tomatoes,
chilbur?
cucumber,
Yes, Izel
olives.
just dug her own grave. Explain chilbur to the foreign audience, Izel.
Okay, it's egg
Yes.
inside yogurt. Like the the traditional way is like what was it called? Poached?
Poached egg.
I don't know.
Poached.
Poached. Yeah,
Poached egg.
Yeah. Okay. Poached egg. You poach some eggs and you put it inside the yogurt, and you would put hot butter with
It's kind of like mante,
spices on
which
it.
is the same concept.
Tomatoes
It's
paste. Is that?
Yeah, like the type of topping you would have
Yeah.
with mantı, but it's on poached egg instead of mantı.
yes, and it's great, and it's such a nice summer iftar food.
Yeah, that's also another type, like tons of
Yeah.
jams, spreads,
Like Izel.
different cuts and different, I don't know, like olives, olive oils, butters, cheese, tons of different cheese. And you all eat that
Ay.
with pide. You just make sandwich over sandwich
Mhm.
over sandwich. And
Mini sandwiches, little sandwiches each time, like bite-sized sandwiches.
Mhm.
and it's just great. And that's my favorite kind of iftar table. But yeah, like another kind of lore in Ramadan is when you get old enough to do the first fasting. And that's also another kind of like a story being told over and over again on the table from your kids to your grandparents or your general parents. Everybody has that kind of like a memory.
Let me be the old person. Let me be the old person. Oh, where is our old Ramazan days? We were so passionate about it. Nowadays, kids don't even like acting how they should
They don't
behave
even fast
in Ramadan.
anymore.
Ah,
But yeah, and
Okay.
I cannot believe we went 40 episodes. By the way, this is the 40th episode, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay.
41 times mashallah will be next episode. But the coffee we drank in the first episode, Satır, has just expired. But we went all 40 episodes without being cancelled by old people. So
I mean,
Enes is here to
Enes-
set the record straight.
Did you how to do the old man voice?
But yeah, and one of the stories that old people tell is, oh, the first time when I had to do fasting, this was the specific food break my fast, like because when you're a kid, you don't really have that intuition and I don't know, like strength in you. So sometimes things get even more tastier or smell even more tasty. And certain items you forget. Sometimes you forget that you're fasting and things can break your fast. And those specific items are always, at least in my family, I brought into the table during Ramadan. Like this was the one. Let's eat it now. So for my mom, for example, it was roasted leblebi.
Chickpea.
Leblebi in roasted peanuts.
No.
Sorry, chickpea.
Chickpea.
Yeah,
It's a
thank
kind
you.
of roasted chickpea, but
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
roasted chickpea is very nice,
It's-
especially with like
we are
honey.
eating it like a nut.
And it smells so good when it's roasted, and it's a street food. So that was for her was the food that kind of ruined her first fast. I think for me was chocolate. That's what I remember. I was in the school and I forgot that I was fasting, and I went to the canteen and bought chocolate. Um, yeah, but like I cried so bad, man. Like that disappointment hits you in
Also,
a different way. But then I kind of gave up on the religion, so it doesn't matter.
also,
I mean,
But
that's also harsh transition though.
Izel is very similar to you. Izel is also a perfectionist. Whenever something goes wrong, she quits the thing too.
Oh my god, that was.
Yeah, I don't have
Okay.
Really
a
unexpected
story like that
twist.
because I gave up on religion before I started fasting. Yeah.
I mean, Elif,
What I was gonna okay.
there are 18th century Enlightenment philosophers throwing their books away from the table when they heard this. They're like, have we done all this work for nothing?
yeah, but that's also another fun Ramazan lore.
But like what a naive of me that I was thinking about like there is a transition period for children, like when they are like not developed enough to fast throughout the day. They were also like
Oh, yeah.
making like there is a tradition of half day
Child
fasting
oruç.
for children,
Child fasting.
Yes.
child
Yes.
fasting to make them kind of get used to the thing and
Mhm.
make them involved. They make them fast maybe until breakfast or lunch.
Lunch
So-
is
Yeah,
usually like
the
until
Lunch
noon
is
is
usually
what
noon.
was the afternoon ezan called?
ilkinde. The
No,
first.
that's the morning one.
Öyle. Öyle.
Öyle.
I mean, afternoon ezan is afternoon. The one
Sabah.
between night and afternoon is ilkinde.
Sabah, öğle, ikindi, akşam, yatsı.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay, that one.
I have more beard than Binali. Why are you doing this?
Just
There is this Turkish phrase that goes, you wouldn't
think-
listen to me because I don't have a beard.
I think we also mentioned that in previous episodes.
It's also not a sexist thing though.
It's probably not sexist. It's probably more of a ulema relationship with the regular people. Like because you have a beard, you would be an expert on religious matters. That's the assumption behind the. Anyway,
Okay.
but yes, child fasting is a thing, and in Turkish culture, children are very encouraged to fast. In fact, it is treated like if you are man enough. I am sorry, this is sexist. But I'm a boy. Maybe girls have something similar to. If you are man enough, you will survive until the iftar. If you are not man enough, you will give up and fail and cry.
Are you a little
So
boy?
because in order to prove that you're a man,
You can't
you
fast?
don't eat or drink.
Oh, poor
Yeah,
little boy.
About children fasting, my grandma always said on the last day of Ramazan, the Arife day, even the birds fast, she says.
Yeah, I mean, like, I grew up in a secular family, so we were also usually just like, the first day, let's participate. Not the last day. Okay, let's participate.
lot of leblebi eaters in Elif's family.
So, like, it's kind of like Christmas. Like, you
Yeah.
don't have to be a fully Christian to celebrate Christmas. And in Ramadan, my parents were like, sure, let's participate.
Maybe don't speak this too out loud when you visit Turkey again.
Yeah. But yes, like in general, the month of Ramadan is the time where people act one step more religious than they really are.
Yeah.
Like if people don't go to any namaz, they start going to Friday prayers. If they go to Friday prayers, they do all prayers. Stuff like that. They increase their religiosity for a notch during Ramazan, which is the
Patch update.
I mean, but
Ramazan
that's-
month came
But
in.
what is
that's how-
what is
That's how I would explain it.
Muslim
That's-
religious
No, I think that's
participation
right.
level increased. 10%.
Oh, similar to that, but contrary to that, do you know what gets more secular each year? It's dates.
The keto
Like it's also
perfect dessert for any health well-being
extra
individual.
green, vegan, healthy, refined
Vegan.
sugar free.
That is true. Dates are definitely getting more secular and more mainstream.
I mean, I
Yeah.
love dates. By the way, date is one of my favorite things. Like, I use dates before going to the gym because I wake up and I go to gym before breakfast. So I have a date and go to gym, and then it's very like it keeps me during the entire gym experience.
You know what's best with dates? When you split up a date, take the inside out and then put peanut or hazelnut or
Oh,
almond in it. That's like
oh.
double
It's
trouble.
bomb.
Yeah, my
It's
roommate
either
used to
called
put
atom or bomb.
cacao powder inside dates.
Of.
You know what's even better
Oof.
than a date? It's a romantic date.
Oh no.
I had to, I'm sorry.
It was bound to happen sooner or later.
Yeah, let's talk about Coca-Cola.
So
Okay, so
no, I was gonna.
Yeah, like so
Okay.
no. The transition could be like, those are the things that we usually have on the table, but what's the drink? So we talked about ayran, but what's the second drink?
you are being very optimistic about the editing period. What's gonna happen is I am gonna keep what Izel
Ayda.
says.
Yes.
because
I think now-
we cannot do a better transition than okay,
No,
now
no,
let's
no,
talk
no.
about Coca-Cola.
No, that was perfect.
But I
So,
think
you know
someone
how-
was gonna say something else about the previous topic.
You have
No,
I mean,
it's
I
over.
was gonna say, maybe it's
you have
our
just Doğan
irrelevant
Şentürk,
one.
the old topic no longer exists.
Yeah, what about cola?
I'm sorry, Enes. Okay. You might be thinking, you seem to be doing Eurovision podcasts these days. What's made you change your mind to do not another Eurovision topic? Actually, this is kinda Eurovision topic because have you watched the which country was it?
Armenia.
Armenia.
Yeah.
Juko.
People are saying their music clip is like the Ramazan Coca-Cola commercial on Twitter.
A big table full of people around
Yeah.
celebrating.
The exact same thing last year with Albania. Long table, people eating,
Perfect
family
little
members.
village.
And whenever such imagery pops up, every Turkish people around our age will immediately go, "Oh, this looks like a Coca-Cola commercial."
Or Cola Turca commercial.
Cola Turca
Cola Turca
commercial
is-
is a whole other beast. We may make an episode entirely devoted to Cola Turca commercial. And
Let us know if you want to know more about Cola
Yeah,
Turca.
let us know in the comments if you want us to talk about Cola Turca commercial that is in America where somebody yells
Cola.
potato onion from the street and it tells to Johnny Cola Turca is better than the... Anyway, many people will know the reason why Santa Claus is wearing red is because of Coca-Cola branding. And this may be true for some extent because in other countries, the countries that are not Turkey, possibly Coca-Cola does the exact thing they do to us as well. They completely tried to take over Ramazan culture. With their booming Ramazan commercials, they broadcasted to our entire generation that if an iftar table exists, there must be a Coca-Cola somewhere.
should
Like
Next to pide.
people are all waiting for iftar to happen, but what they're actually waiting for is for cola to happen, and then iftar comes, people start eating, cola goes all around the table.
Sharing it.
Obviously, cola has nothing to do with Ramazan, but by years and years of aggressive advertisement, Coca-Cola took over the Ramazan culture, or at least it tried to.
You know what it's kind of similar to? It's similar to Japan, Christmas, and KFC. It's kind of similar connection that's
Yeah.
been made, at least in Turkey, that Coca-Cola really tried hard to be part of it.
I am sorry. I have to stop all of us here because we did not mention the cannons even once, and it just hit
Oh
me
yeah, cannons.
while
Cannons
thinking about the
exist.
Coca-Cola commercial.
Oh,
So, does anyone want to explain?
So a cannon is
What?
this large tube-like structure where you squeeze gunpowder inside with some projectile,
you know what I
and
meant.
by igniting the squeezed gunpowder, the projectile is fired over a large distance.
Well,
possibly
you know
for
what I
military
meant.
purposes.
So, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Okay, fine. No,
but another,
no, you missed your
another-
chance. You missed your chance.
Shut up and listen to me. But another useful aspect of a cannon is that it is very loud.
Yes.
So what people did in olden times was,
If it's empty.
before electricity, I mean, it's full, it's loud too, but some other complications might happen if you fire a filled cannon.
It's an Ottoman tradition, I guess.
I think it's older than that, actually. I think it's like very old Anatolian tradition, even older
And
than Ottomans.
And cannons being used to convey information has a very long history. And
Yeah.
but the thing is, Ottomans popularized cannon in Anatolia.
Oh, okay.
So there is that.
But
But
the
like
thing
old
is-
Ottomans, not the classical Ottoman period you would think of, more like the old Beylik periods. Anyway, there are several ways cannons are used in Turkish culture. One is to celebrate. You would throw 100 pieces of cannon. I mean, you wouldn't throw the cannon. The cannons would be fired. They create
But
sound.
they will be empty though. They will be empty. Just
Yeah, they wouldn't be shooting projectiles. They would just be creating sounds and clouds.
Yes.
And another important thing is, in the olden time, I mean, still to some extent currently, large population centers would have cannons, and these cannons would be used to alert the people of the iftar time.
Yes.
Like you would have the guy from the mosque singing the call to prayer, but you would also have a cannon firing to announce the coming
Because-
of iftar.
Because in the old days, obviously, that's like that guy singing isn't gonna reach like all the town.
Also, there is a functional thing behind that. The cannons are mostly in castles in the cities, and Turkish castles are mostly on top of the hillsides or mountains. So
Mhm.
it also sees the sun setting. So the person who is on the castle, who is on who can see the sky very clearly, sees the sunset. So they fire the bomb. That's the functionality behind that.
also, if you mention that, we also have to mention the davulcu.
Double. Yeah, I thought about that.
Yes. So
Oh, John
basically,
John is about to get very angry.
So-
okay, no.
Can
There is
I?
a bit
That
of a
should be
drama
no
around
more.
this. drama. Funny.
Not all
Drum,
traditions are
uh,
good. Not all traditions are good.
Somebody else can explain this one. I already explained the
Well,
canon.
okay, here's the explanation. This is a tradition that is still being kept alive, but the thing is, normally what expected of you is go to sleep, and when before the dawn at sahur time, you wake up, you eat, and go back to sleep. And obviously, alarm clocks wasn't something that existed for much of the history. So the way people would wake up is someone would take the role of like playing a drum in the streets, like bum bum
And
bum, and wake up
It's
kind
a
of
people.
very
sing
large
some-
drum.
It's a very large drum.
Also
It's a very like
Also sings
one
in a
beat.
different way, like
almost
a
like a
poet.
marching drum, right?
Yeah.
Like not
Yeah.
not like a steer drum, but like a big round one.
They shout manis.
They would shout small poetry.
Ramazan geldi, hoş geldi.
You're not giving it soul, Enes. Ramazan geldi, hoş geldi.
I couldn't remember.
Okay,
the rest.
nobody remembers the second line.
You know,
Nobody, no. The
No,
reason
no.
nobody remembers the second line is this is not a like. There is not a set of money that people like. People just read. There is not one set of money everyone reads. It's a creative output.
Yeah, improvised poetry.
it is improvised poetry. Whatever they're gonna read, they read at their own like leisure, at their own preference. So there is
Yeah,
no
so-
set of something to remember.
So you know how in foreign TV shows and movies, sometimes they go to poetry night in library and there's this little drum and somebody does poetry and then they go to tuk 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 tuk.
Yeah,
Similar to that, but like way more
Loud.
like the poet with the drum comes to your house. That's the type of vibe you would have, and they are just as invited usually.
It's not like an open mic, but it feels like an open mic.
I mean, it
But
certainly feels
back in
that way.
back in day, it was functional and it's kind of artistic way of doing it. But nowadays, like, it's kind of bullying.
Nowadays,
Do you
it's
agree with
capitalism.
me? Like, many people will agree with me. Like, there is no artistic element inside anymore.
No,
It's no
it's not
functionality.
even bullying.
People are just doing it for the money.
Like,
It's money. It's for
yeah,
the money.
they're begging for the money, and
No, it's not
they're-
even begging for the money.
They aren't begging for the money. They are threatening you with a drum hammer with the money.
and like we can't really know who they're assigned by, who
Exactly.
are those people.
Sometimes the
all,
neighbor
are
decides
they
to hire
actually
it.
playing the drum?
Okay.
We don't know
I know
those,
what happens.
and
I know what happens, and I'm gonna
it's
tell you.
okay.
What happens is the municipal government opens this ihale for different neighborhoods, and people bid on those ihale. I don't remember. Like there are auctions, and the winner does the neighborhood. What they do is they give some money in advance. They do drumming the neighborhood, and then they come asking for tips in order to make a profit out of their bid.
And there are a lot of incidents of like people spilling into other neighborhoods, the fights of happening over that. This is a whole like mafia level thing.
And fake drummers too, like people who aren't really your drummers coming to ask for tips.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. But speaking of money, back to Coca-Cola.
I mean, like in any religious or any kind of tradition, capitalism has to come in and take and create profit somehow.
Okay, hang on. As
I mean,
as
you,
a local,
you exploit
as-
people's
okay,
sense
okay.
of festivity with the
Okay. Yes.
Ramazan capitalism. Because
Yes.
like hurma isn't cheap. All hurma is imported. Hurma isn't locally grown in Turkey. So obviously the date importers,
Hmm.
they fill their pockets. Drum people fill their pockets out of traditionalism.
Okay, I'm gonna say one thing though. I do agree that there's a lot of exploitation, but there's one distinction I want to make. Drummer people are not capitalists. they're just mob. That's another type of exploitation.
Capitalism is mob
It's
rule of
not
mob.
Yeah, but that's not the same thing as the.
How to turn tables. How to turn iftar tables once again.
I'm the local capitalism hater here, and that's a different type of exploitation. Not every economic exploitation is capitalism. But the thing you said about dates is really funny because like I don't know how familiar you guys are with this. If you go to a bazaar around like Ramazan time, or like go to any type of like aktar, you'll see signs of like Mekke hurması, Medine hurması, çekirdeğinde Allah yazıyor.
Okay, you need to translate this. I can't.
I know.
I can't. You need to
Allah-
translate this.
You'll see signs like this as like
Holy
from
dates.
Mecca, from Medina, in like the stuff like when you eat it in the like in the bit it says
It's the-
Allah. Like this type of like marketing around like religion as if like some type of dates is
But Mecca and Medina is a type of date.
no, it is, but the way they market is like as if it is like more religious to eat those
And
dates.
holy.
because
Holy dates.
because yeah, calling them holy, calling them sacred, like that's what I mean.
Oh yeah, and like what I say is most brands, even though they are secular brands, let's call them, actually do Ramazan campaigns where they are trying to promote some of their goods as Ramazan related, or maybe they launch a seasonal product. Like one of our favorite bubble tea vendors actually has a special Ramazan drink that they do where they start from cherry and cinnamon base, and they put tapiocas that are glowing like gold in them so that it would look like Ramazan imagery.
Bubble tea
Wait,
Ramazan
I know.
flavored. Get it
By
now,
the way,
your local
Elif
store.
says capitalism. I say commercialization of Ramazan, not capitalism of
Okay.
Ramazan.
Okay,
That's
really
yeah.
spirit.
No,
I mean, I may have said it wrong, but that's what I have in mind. Commercialization,
no.
not
That's
capitalism. in
I just
general.
want to make the distinction of like I don't wanna I don't wanna box all the problems into one box and blame that. I am open to multiple boxes to blame. I'm good. I have a lot of blame to pass around.
I completely agree that there are at least 3 boxes worth of problems in the world. Maybe even more.
Perhaps
One of the other things that happens during Ramadan is a fast food chain will have iftar menus that you can get them from.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, everywhere will have Ramazan menu.
and
all the
it's funny.
restaurants.
It's not even all the restaurants, even the chains.
McDonald's.
Like, tell me why.
Burger King.
Like tell me why Kajun Corner makes an iftar marketing. Who is ordering Kajun for iftar?
I mean, because for food chains, for restaurants, Ramazan is a terrible time because people are, one, not eating during the daytime, and two, are having large family dinners with food they prepare at home.
Yeah.
They're in trouble in Ramazan.
I mean,
Similar
it's
for
like-
cola.
Yeah. Where I live in Bursa, usually fast food restaurants go into tadilat. What was it?
Mhm.
Repairs.
Restoration.
Yeah,
Maintenance.
they
Well, it
close the
makes-
store and do their maintenance a whole month.
Well, it makes sense because in Turkish culture, even if you're not fasting yourself, you usually avoid eating anything outside out of respect to other people because you don't want to be I'm just gonna most of the restaurants will close their even if they stay open, they will close their outdoor sections
Mhm.
because they don't want to
I think
openly sell food to people while fasting people are just going over the street.
I think it is very similar to how you wouldn't want to eat a meat product with a vegan friend.
Yeah.
Like that's the type of whatever feeling you associate with that situation is the thing that happens. Like maybe you can associate it with respect, maybe you can associate it with a feeling of society, and maybe fear of reprisal. But that's the general feeling of not eating outside during Ramadan.
But yeah, that's why it's expected for them to exploit the iftar part of it.
Mhm.
When you think about John Dennis said, they're not going to do much business outside it during
Mhm.
Ramadan.
And another aspect of Ramazan tradition is people are encouraged to be more charitable. Like one of the explanations, even though this is in no way theological, one of the social explanations of why people fast is in order them to better understand the condition of poor people.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, the time of Ramazan is also closely associated with charity.
Yeah.
One such
mean,
practices.
I
Bilal,
think-
please continue.
Oh, I was gonna say one aspect of this is, for example, we said how in Islam this is a must. You must fast if you're a Muslim during Ramadan.
Mhm.
But if you're unable to due to illness, sickness, or any other circumstance, then what is expected of you is that you take care of one other person's Ramadan expense in in return to not in instead of you fasting. So that's the part of the charity too. It is very much inherent in the Ramadan culture.
Mhm.
That was what I was going to say.
So not every Ramazan tradition is not capitalistic.
In fact, it is quite the opposite. The social harmony inducing.
It's opposite. I would say capitalistic parts of exploitation of the holiday, not the inherent parts of it. I think Ramadan is very communal practice because
Huh.
I think we have this like tradition of iftar tents,
Oh yeah.
where if you're like if we said, yeah, you usually have an iftar dinner with your family, a large one, like with your extended family, etc. But if you're unable to, or if you're willing to, there are like iftar tents where they give out food, like to people who can't afford it, to people who want to eat with the community. So I would say Ramadan itself, as a religious, like, it's not a holiday. It's like as a religious month, is a very communal, very like harmonic tradition. I would say it's very anti-capitalistic, actually, which makes it ironic that like a lot of companies try to exploit it. But that's kind of the name of the game. They're gonna exploit everything, so obviously Ramadan is not gonna be exempt from that.
I mean, they will attempt, at least.
Yeah,
Like,
they will attempt this.
the amount of success they achieve while trying to exploit local traditions is up to you, dear listener. But meanwhile, I completely agree that Ramazan in particular and religious practices in general has this aspect of trying to harmonize the society, like trying to, I mean, even though they don't directly address income inequality, they try to at least keep the poorest people in a good enough situation that they wouldn't revolt. And many traditions associated with Ramazan also can go back to it. And it isn't just about poor people being able to eat. Like during the Ottoman times, in the evenings after Iftar, there's a special type of prayer you would do in a mosque. It's called Teravih namazı. And after that, there would be celebrations in the city. Like I already kind of mentioned, Hacivat Karagöz is a type of theater, and there are other type of street theaters that are traditional to Turkish that aren't very well kept right now, but they were much more common back at those days. And people from different walks of life would join in these celebrations and generally mingle and interact with each other, and they would be like eating around sugary sweet things and in general having fun together. And I think even for like currently, iftar tents are organized by municipal governments, but before that they were probably organized by rich people or type of vakıf places. Like
Still, it's also
I mean, yes, still too probably.
yeah. Also, like they don't only give to people who can't afford. It's kind of communal thing that is open to public. So actually, no one knows who is poor or who is kind of can afford. It's it's an open event.
I mean, it is generally understood that very rich people wouldn't attend, but even that's not a must. That's just the type of thing you would think.
When I was in Bursa, one butcher shop has put tables in front of their store and made a huge iftar dinner for people.
But yeah, that's the even though it has a lot of commercialized aspects, in its core, Ramazan is more of a social event, like the type of event that would generally increase the harmony in a society. And yeah, and after 1 month of fasting, you end up with a type of religious celebration that goes for 3 days. And everybody knows what, like in people, generally children go around houses asking for candies, and people eat lots of baklava and type of heavy sweets.
Kind of like Halloween, but without the costumes. Sukkah Fest!
And yeah, we end up with Sugar Fest.
It's time for the
So,
Sukkah Fest.
So, a Ramazan tip for you. You should not shop during the fasting because you might get lots of sugary sweet things end up in your basket. So, what is our own basket is our social media channels that you can subscribe. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, X, TikTok, or you can write our subreddit, and please do so.
It's a charity month.
Ramazan is the month of sharing. So please
So
share
we are
your
sharing
thoughts
these
with us.
links.